So, welcome to you guys. This is going to be you guys' fifth travel trailer right here. Starting from the front, hitch coupler right here. Forward is locked, back is unlocked. That's how we're going to hitch up to your ball. Our safety chains on each side. If you ever towed before, if you haven't, that's fine. Simply with our safety chains, we always want to make sure that when we're hooking up, that we cross them over a few times, making that X pattern in there. For a simple fact that once we hook up to the truck, what it's going to do, it's going to do two things. It's going to shorten the length of the chain so they're not dragging on the ground. The other portion is it's a safety factor. In case we ever have what's classified as an unhitch, meaning the trailers come off the back of the truck. Instead of it landing down to the ground, it actually gets caught up by the safety chains like so. So that's why we cross them over. So if they're not crossed over, simply we have all this open gapping, and once it comes unhitched, we have all that much length for it to then drop down to the ground. That's why we cross over our chains. Just makes a little carrier for our chains. So that is going to be this guy right here, this little cable right here. This is what they classify as your breakaway cable. That's so if we ever have that unfortunate event of having it unhitched, this cable actually will be attached to the truck. And if we have that unhitched, the trailer gets extended away from the truck and then gets pulled out of its keeper. What it does then from there is locks down your trailer brakes for you, so that while you're traveling, if it does come unhitched, this cable gets pulled out, it locks down those trailer brakes for you, so that when you apply the truck brakes again, the trailer just doesn't come careening into the back end of your truck for you. Basically locks down the trailer brakes so that you have to drag the trailer off to the side of the road. And then beside that right here is this little guy right here. This little guy right here is your 7-way plug. This is going to be your umbilical cord from your truck to your trailer. This is going to supply you all your running lights, turn signals, brake lights, power to your brakes from your truck. So when you apply the brakes in the truck, it sends a signal through here to your trailer brakes to tell them to be applied then. It also sends a minute charge back from the alternator to your trailer brake, to your trailer's batteries, which are just located right behind here, right behind the LP tank, are your two batteries. These will be what your trailer lives on and consistently needs 12 volts for these two batteries so that things in our trailer completely work. Our trailer runs and lives on 12 volts. 90% of it lives on 12 volts. The other 10% is usage of 110. That's going to be your outlets, your microwave, your AC unit, TVs, anything that works on 110. Where everything else in the trailer runs on 12 volts. Just underneath here is going to be your LP tank cover. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Shimmers it right off just like so. Underneath here, let's peel these two stickers off, don't need them. Are your two LP tanks. Just like your barbecue tanks at home. When we get ready to go camping, simply just turn them on. Once they're turned on, now we're supplied gas pressure inside. On the top side right here in the middle, this is your LP regulator. What your regulator does is just simply regulate down the pressure of your tanks down for usable pressure inside the coach. All you need to know about is this little flip valve right here. All this does is simply change you from tank A over to tank B as we need to. When tank A goes completely empty, it will start naturally drawing off of tank B at 30% of its pressure. So if we're sleeping at night, we run out of LP out of one tank, it'll simply start drawing off the secondary tank to help keep you warm at night so that you don't run completely out of LP and you wake up with a cold butt first thing the next morning. Hit pause.
Hey, I reprinted this one just because it's got everything you bought on it. The warranty net. I mean, it doesn't have to be, but I'd rather have you have one that's got everything on it. So you guys want to each sign it? And I brought you a new Christmas catalog.
Christmas catalog?
Yep.
Cool.
Big book of RV parts that has everything you'll ever need to know about RV parts in there.
Awesome.
From dressing the trailer up to getting major hard parts for the trailer to dressing the truck up, all that kind of good stuff. So our regulator here, like I was saying, simply just pick one tank that you want to draw off of first, which would be they've already been drawn off of this tank, so just leave it on this tank for now. Once this tank goes completely empty, it will start to draw off of this one at 30% of its pressure. All you have to do is come outside and flip it over. One way you'll notice that you're down to that 30% pressure is simply when we get up in the morning, if we go to like fire up the stove to cook up some eggs or something like that, you notice instead of the flame being really tall, it will be really, really short, like you get it set on low. If you notice that, simply come outside, go, oh, I'm out on that tank. Simply switch it over to this tank, and on the way you go. It will automatically do everything and rest from there.
So it's pretty easy to take these off. If I just want to take one of these to the gas station.
Yep.
Instead of bringing the whole RV, right?
Exactly. Just loosen up the wing nut, shut the tank off, and loosen the nut right there, and away it comes off.
Okay.
And And then top side just got a lifting lid so that we can then turn on and off the tanks without having to take the whole cover. If you want, you can just set that stuff right inside the RV and we'll continue on the outside. Right there, that's just perfect. Just behind that are your two 24 series 12 volt batteries. They're classified as a 24 series, is just the size of the battery. They are 12 volt batteries. There's 2 of them on there, simply because we have a slide out and all the electronics. We want to make sure that anytime that we have stored the unit for extended periods of time, that we at least take the covers off and pop the lids to make sure that there's water still inside the tank, inside of them, making sure that the water's up to the plastic lid, and that's basically it. Those are general maintenance on the batteries. Just simply pop the covers off, make sure the water is up inside of them. Inside there'll be a little there's a lead plate in there. You just want to make sure the water's over that lead plate.
Can you show us?
Mm-hmm. These are your plates. These are the covers. Pops off just like so. And as you look right down, you'll see the water level in there. You just need the water level just about as high as it is in there now. And you just you can go to Walmart and pick up distilled water in the baby section. It's like 68 cents. It's under $1 a gallon for it. And all you do is come in, fill it up to right where it reaches the bottom of the hole, and you're all filled up. You've done your maintenance.
How often do you do that a year?
So during the summertime, you're going to want to check it anytime that you have stored it. Just because it is water and it does end up getting boiled away by hot air, and the water is just going to evaporate over time. You just want to make sure you're just checking them periodically just to make sure the water's up on it. So if you're going, the rule of thumb is that for every 1 full month that we use it, so we leave January 1st and we're not going to be back till February 1st, in that time, in that 1 month of full usage, you'll check them at least once or twice in that month. If it's going to be a weekend warrior where you're just taking it on the weekends every other weekend or once a month, then you'll be checking it every time you pull it out of storage just to make sure those water levels are up. Continue on down around this side over here. Just the opposite side of our full pass-through bay. This is just for all of our storage, anything like that. If he decides to get mouthy with him, just grab him by the pants and shirt, throw him on in, lock the doors.
Right.
You don't have to hear him for the rest of the time from there. All of our doors are just magnetically held up, push it up, locks it up there just to hold it up so we don't have to keep a hand out here trying to balance it. Beside that, this guy right here, this is going to be our gravity fill for our freshwater tank. This is potable water that we can take with us, that we can cook with, clean with, drink with, all that kind of good stuff. Simply all you do is take your hose, drop it in, turn the spigot on about 1/4 of the way on, and just let it fill up. You fill it up as much as you need. There is a monitor panel inside that'll tell you on how full the tank is getting. The general rule of thumb is when we're taking water with us is we're taking as much water as we need for the trip. So if we're only going a couple 100 miles, we only fill it up about 1/4 of the way. So if we have to stop in between, we can stop, use our own restroom, all that kind of good stuff, and then hit the road and away we go. No more using truck stop bathrooms or gas station bathrooms. Just pull in and you can use all your own facilities here. Next to that is your city water hookup. This guy right here is going to be so that when you get to the RV parks are going to offer you 3 hookups. There's going to be sewer, power, and water. And they'll be generally right next to each other. When we hook up to water, we're going to be hooking up with either a white or blue hose. When we hook up with those are just signifying that they're a freshwater hose. When you buy them, they'll tell you that it's a freshwater hose right on the front, and they'll be either in the colors of white or blue. Simply when we hook up, we'll hook up a pressure regulator to the spigot, we'll hook our hose to the pressure regulator, and then run the water hose over and hook it up to here. The reason for the pressure regulator is that simply that water coming out of the spigot could be over 100 psi. Where an RV is never allowed to see over 65 psi. It just simply ends up hurting the joints and can cause them to pop apart. So we always want to make sure we're using a pressure regulator so that we regulate our pressure coming in so we're not harming any of our water joints. From there, make sure I'm not missing anything. Straight down here, the little blue hose or white hose that we see sticking straight down, that's our fresh tank drain. Simply all you gotta do is turn the valve upwards and that'll simply bleed the water pressure off of your freshwater tank. Nope, right here. Pull away valve right there. Yep. Little T-bar handle, that's your manual crank up for your electric jacks if you ever can't get them up manual or with the electric.
Oh.
Is that just installation?
Yep. As we move further back down to here, right here is going to be your sewer hookup. This is where you're gonna hook up your sewer hose. This is just a twist off cap. Take your hose, line it up, simply twist lock it on, so I don't miss it, and just snap it on nice and tight. Then you'll take the other end of the hose and drop it into its exit into the sewer hose hookup. And then you have your two valves. One on the back side here is for your black tank, where the one over on this side is for your gray tank. And they are marked up here on the body of which one's which. Your black tank's everything that goes through your toilet, where your gray tank's everything that goes through your sinks and your showers. So we always want to make sure that these two valves are left shut until that tank gets full. And once the black tank gets full, then we come outside. We drain our black tank first, get all the sewer nastiness out first. Then we close our black valve, and then we pull our gray valve just to wash out the sewer hose, because everything going through our gray tanks is going to be from our sinks and our showers, which is going to be soap water, body soap, shampoo, conditioner, stuff like that. That's just going to wash out all the nasty poopiness out of the hose for us, so we don't have to sit there and smell it. And just above that, right here. Oh, I'm going to go grab the keys real quick. They locked it on me.
Yeah.
Get this?
Yeah.
Good for you.
It's gonna be an adventure.
Where are you gonna go first?
Oh, someplace local just to get used to it. Do 1 or 2 local trips, then we're gonna do like Utah and Arizona and like Arizona.
Have you guys been out to Government Wash?
No,
Out at Lake Mead?
I heard it's closed right now.
No, it's not close.
It's not?
No.
Okay.
We do it like me all the time. We have a boat too.
You go hiking there or?
No, we're hoping to now.
Well, a Government Wash is a great place to hike.
So my ticket's question for you is relates to your 7 weeks, which are we doing the 7-way plug? Have to go.
Yep, 7-way trailer, 7-way plug.
Okay.
No, well, he's missing a speed off of the second one.
Which one? Do you know which one it's for?
They're charging.
The charge line? That's then left up to him. Does he want to be able to charge his trailer while he travels down the road, or does it matter?
How much?
I'm not the. We'll find out.
Probably about an hour or so to run the wire back. You gotta grab positive, a breaker.
No, he has it there. It just
Well, then it just needs to be hooked up.
no, he has it there. It just
I'm missing one of the
terminal speeds that come out of the.
Oh, you're missing it. He's missing one of the
broke
spades
off.
inside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It broke,
So-
it broke off.
Oh, so then you just gotta replace the seven So it'd be an hour plus the 7-way plug for the back of the truck.
Okay. So,
So 7-way plug.
well, I already have to wait for an hour. Once you're done doing this, then you're supposed to spray it or something.
Yeah, you guys got the armor guard?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna be about an hour or so.
So a good way we're stuck here for an hour.
Yeah.
Well, it needs to get fixed.
It needs to get fixed and we tore our boat, so
Okay.
just do it and we'll figure out which car we're gonna do and what we're gonna do later. Because I mean, our lights are always giving us issues when we're boating. Well, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. You gotta take it on, take it off. So
It sounds like you're just having an internal issue with that 7-way plug on the back of the truck anyways. Better just get it replaced, that way you guys can have it all full usage.
Yes.
yeah.
Safety.
Anyway, this way you know that Government Wash, you can camp 2 weeks out there for free.
Oh. Maybe we'll be there in the next week or two there to test this baby out. 'cause
And there's great hiking there. We go there hiking a lot. And if you just go down, people fish right there a lot.
Alright, cool. I'll finish
A lot of coyotes around. Mountains. There's a lot of wildlife in the water right in there. There's pelicans, ducks, and
Government Wash.
grebes, and
Thank you.
that's where I'm going this afternoon.
There you go.
Well, we live really close. We're on Wagon Wheel. We live close to Lake Mead.
Thank you, sir.
So the first bay that we come up to, this little guy right here, this is just simply for your Keystone multi-system. What this is used for is for that if you had a portable satellite, you can hook up the satellite, or the park that we go to, if they offer cable, you just simply hook up a coax connection right there. Other than that, that has a built-on antenna on the roof. So all you got to do is program the TV and boop, you have TV usage. Little port above this is for your black tank flush. This is to wash out your black tank. What this is meant to do is that when we're out camping, we wait till our black tank gets close to full. Once it gets close to full, we come out and use a separate hose from our drinking water, like an old garden hose that you might have laying around the house or something. You hook the water hose here, you hook it up to the spigot, you turn the water on, and what this does is it sends water into the black tank from the opposite side, from the exit side, so it'll be on the driver's side, or passenger side, excuse me, and it'll be pushing water this way. What it's doing is it's just spraying water in a big circle. What it's doing is it's re-oscillating everything back in the tank. So if we've been out camping for a while, all that heavy sediments end up settling to the bottom. Poopy, toilet paper end up settling to the bottom. We want to re-oscillate that so that when we go to pull that valve, we get a good even wash, clean out every time. So that when we go to pull it, we just pull that valve. With that sprayer going, it's just going to help spray and push everything down to the exit so that we get a good clean out every time. And then when we get ready to store it, we can flush it out and get it washed out really good so that when we come back to it, it just doesn't have that obscure stink to it.
Yeah.
So is that a different hose you have to use than over here?
It's recommended that you use a separate hose. There's something different from what you'd use as drinking water because it does take a chance that the check valves in this could go bad and it could backfill water back from your black tank out this way. So always make sure you use a separate hose. Just below that, this is going to be your outside shower usage, hot and cold water down here for you in case you're out here messing with the sewer hose, end up getting dirty from it, from hooking up, disconnecting, something like that. Or if you've just been outside playing around and you end up stepping in something, sliding in the mud, and you want to wash off before you go in, you come over here, wash yourself off, and then you guys can head inside to the trailer from there. Just like so. Our slide outs, make sure that we always want to make sure that we're keeping our seals and that fresh and clean. They do sell a spray on cleaner that you just simply spray it on, let it set for a couple of minutes, and then you come back with a rag and just wipe it on down. Just helps keep them hydrated so that when we're out camping, every time we close or open the slide outs, they don't end up tearing and falling apart. And they actually keep up to their job because what they really are, the seals are actually what they classify as a debris seal. What happens is it just simply as we bring it in, it helps push all the water and debris out to the edge of our slide out.
How often are we gonna do that?
It really just depends. Out here in the desert, it's probably good to do it like right before summer and then right after summer, right before it gets really hot and just after it gets really hot. After all the dry air dries everything out.
So maybe like every season, do it once a season. No matter how much you're using it, like spring, summer, winter, fall, once a season, just so you did it.
Yep. The other portion is that when we go out camping, if we're out in areas that have big pine trees or a lot of trees that we're going to be parking underneath, that before we pull in our slide out, that we at least climb up and sweep off the top side of our slide out, just to keep off any type of debris off of there, especially large debris like pine cones, pine needles, branches, or anything like that. Because if we close the slide out, simply the debris seals will push them out to the edge of the slide out, but will not push it off the top of the slide out. What it will do is you can end up getting jammed. There's two ways to get around it. One is climbing up and sweeping it off every time. The other secondary portion is having what they call a slide topper or a debris awning installed over the slide out. And it simply just gets fixated up to the wall. The other portion that fixates out here to the front end of the slide out here. Every time we close the slide out, it automatically rolls in. Every time we put the slide out, it automatically rolls out, so that if we are underneath big pine trees or something like that, any trees that are going to drop pine needles, branches, leaves, that debris awning catches it all. And as soon as we close it, it automatically rolls in, and it ejects everything off the top of our roof for us. Help keep rain and excess water off the top sides too. Just hints and tricks, things I'm going to point out to you. Cord here is your 50 amp shore cord. When hooking up, make sure that this end is always disconnected from power first. We'll head down to the other end down this way. And it brings us to our other end of our shore cord. Shore cord is what they classify as a twist lock, so when we go to take it out, it'll turn to the left till it stops, and just give it a wiggle till it pops free. Then when we put it back in, simply we'll notate this is what they call the grounding pad. This is your ground for the trailer. The other portion is right here on the inside of the bracket. Simply all you have to do is line them up. There's a little slot there for that pin there. Just line it up, slide it in, turn it till it stops. And then this is just a set nut, so in case we come wandering past here or something like that, you have kids, somebody, one of our friends, if they come wandering past here, if they end up somehow getting hooked up on this, they don't pull the cord out of the back of the trailer. Then we come to the other side and then we plug it back in. Anytime we disconnect that end, this end's always away from its power. It's never connected. It's always laying on the ground somewhere away from its power source. Until that end's connected to the trailer. Once that end's connected to the trailer, plug her on in.
All right.
And that supplies you all your 110 usage inside so that we can turn on AC units, TVs, microwaves, everything like that. Little guy right here, not much that you really have to do with this. If you guys get with like the N1 program and everything like that, you guys will be bringing it in for your yearly services. We always recommend that right down here in the very bottom, right dead center, this little guy right here, this is what they call your anode rod. And that's this little socket right here. It also doubles as your plug. When we're out camping, that's what's holding our water in our tank. When we're done camping and we know it's going to be in a cold season type of area, just go ahead and pull that drain plug right out, let the water heater drain if it's going to be during the cold season, so especially if it's going to be in the freezing areas. Other than that, right down here on the bottom left hand side, little 110 switch right there, little black switch that turns on the 110 element behind the cover right here. So this works either gas or electric. We can either run it on either one or both. It's just a matter of where you're at, of what you're going to be using it. If you're out in the middle of nowhere, out dry camping, you'd be using the gas side. If the park's plugged in somewhere, you'd be using the electric side to help save you up some power. Other than that, anytime that we have stored it for extended period of times, we just want to pop off the outside cover right here and just inspect the intake on the bottom and the exhaust at the top side, making sure nothing's crawled in there and made in nests. Mainly what we'll find in there are going to be spiders and bees. They're going to be the two most common things that crawl in by these areas, just for the simple fact that, one, it's a cool, dark area. It's and perfect habitat for spiders and bees to make their nest. The other portion is that they're attracted to the chemical that they add to propane. It's called ethyl molybdenum. It's what gives propane that rotten egg odor, and they're just attracted to those two simple areas for those two simple facts. Line the pin back up, slide her back in, and she's down. As we move around to the back side right here, all you have to do is collapse this down, take two hands out to squeeze real tight, and then give it a wiggle. This is where we're going to store our sewer hose if we want to. Then you can store your sewer hose in the entire bumper length. It holds up to about a 15-foot sewer hose. Spare tire right here on the back side right there for you. Even a spare tire cover from Keystone themselves right on the inside, hidden back in there. Just a rear back storage space where you can store your power cable and everything, anything that you might need to, mainly your power cable because it's plug-ins back there, so it's easier just to drop it out of there, hook it up there, and then drag it up to the side. Again, magnetically held up just like so. Drops down and then just locks these doors down like so. You'll notate the little black cover right dead center. That's for your Furrion backup camera if you choose to go get with that guy right there. It can be used in 3 different ways. There's a 4.3, a 5-inch, and a 7-inch. And it can be used up to, if we use the 5-inch and 7-inch, we can do up to 3 cameras, which would be 2 side marker cameras and a backup camera, or the 4.3, which just does the backup camera. So be a basic choice of which way you'd want to go if you decided to. The backup cameras are used for observation while we're traveling down the highways, so that if we need to see if there's cars right behind us, we could look in the rear backup camera and see if there's anybody right behind us. Or if we go a further step and get the 2 side marker cameras, if we're having to merge left or right, we look in our mirror, yeah, we look pretty clear to our left. Then you can go to your backup camera, touch the screen once, and then select your left camera and go, yeah, I'm definitely 100% clear all the way down the side of my trailer, and then merge over. Just little safety tips and stuff like that, things to help you guys get out and go camping and have some more fun.
I'm sure it makes you backing up and stuff a lot easier too.
It does. It gives you backup lines and everything, so you would have a judge meter of a red line being way close to the trailer, a yellow being your moderate, and green meaning you're in a safe area. Plus with the added benefit that the camera on the backside has a built-in microphone in it, so all you have to do is on the monitor inside the truck is turn the volume up. All Mama has to do is start yelling and talking to you through that. And you don't have to try yelling past truck and trailer for him to get your attention.
That's
all you gotta do is speak up a little bit, and it picks you up just fine.
Okay, well, I mean, for that $1,000, it does sound like a marriage saver to me.
Yep. In here, this is gonna be our outside kitchen area. Clip down our little blue latches down, simply pull out on this guy, that pulls out our barbecue. Lift the lid and then just pull out our 2 wings. These are just wind diverters, so that while we're out camping, if the wind picks up, that just helps keep that wind from blowing out the flames. To get the gas tank for this guy, the LP hose is right here. Just simply pull it out from underneath it. Slide it down through the body, like so. From here. And then it just simply passes right back to here. Pull the little yellow cap out, line it up, and get 2 hands down. Push in the chuck, and then just let it make sure it's good and connect. There's a little valve right here. With it in line with the within line, that's gas coming to it. With it shut off, that's going to keep it from keeping gas coming out of it.
Gotcha.
You can use this connect. You can use this quick connect down here for multiple things, not just for this outside grill. You can use it for your own barbecue grill if you wanted to bring one. You can use it for a fireplace if you wanted to set up a fireplace outside.
Oh, sounds a little intense for camping. Bring your own fireplace.
We have that.
It's true, we do.
No, it's not intense for camping. They don't call it camping anymore. It's called glamping. Glamorous camping. Then we have your outside fridge right here. It's just a little 110 fridge. Figure it from the right side. Simply just plug it in. When you plug the shore power in, it supplies power to this, starts cooling it off. So if you guys get home and you guys are getting ready to go out for a camping trip, just recommend plugging it in a couple of days before the trip's actually planning on leaving. That way you can get everything cooling off, batteries charged up, ready to go. So that if you wanted to use this fridge to carry drinks or something like that, you can get this fridge nice and cold, load your drinks in there, let them cool down, then just shut the fridge off, shut the fridge door, let it go for travel. As long as we eliminate how much we open that fridge, will help keep that fridge a little cooler. Get it magnetically held up, just give it a
Then
little
do we
pump.
have to? Thank you. Do we have to secure that every time we travel?
And this guy's just your travel latch. Keeps the fridge back in its place so it doesn't travel out and bang into everything. Just simply pull down again on the door. Our 2 thumb latches just like so. Brings us to our rear stabilizer jacks. Rear stabilizer jacks are just easy to use. Hit the button to bring them up. When we bring them down, we just simply bring them down till they simply touch the ground. We'll listen for the and just lift up on the trailer a little bit. You're not actually trying to lift the entire trailer with these. These are just meant to go down just to help take off some of that bounce out of this suspension. Yep. Our awning is a fully electric awning. It is worked off at 12 volts, so if we're out dry camping, we can still get our awning out. We can also pull down on one arm, just like so, and add an entire pitch to the awning. So if we're outside and it's raining out, we can add a pitch to our awning so that then the water runs off from one direction. You can actually do this to both arms just the same, bring the whole head of the awning down, with the added ability that if we get into what they call an emergency point, the wind picks up, the awning starts banging around, we do not have to run back out here and re-eject these arms back up. Nope, leave them just the way they are, hit that button, start rolling it in, these arms self-correct themselves. No matter if it's pitched or if they're both bent down, it'll simply just self-correct itself the proper way it needs to go. I'm just gonna re-extend it back up so in case somebody comes under, they don't bang their head like I always do. Continue on. Intake and exhaust for our furnace right here. Again, nothing that we really have to do. Simply all we need to do is that we have stored it for an extended period of time, especially over spring, summer, and fall when we have our bugs most active out here. Just simply take a flashlight, shine it down inside the hole right here. Make sure nothing's crawled in there and made a nest. If it has, if you think you see something, just take a simple shot vac and suck it back out of there. Right here, this is just the back side of the fridge. Nothing that you guys again have to do back here. It's just inspection points. These are just inspecting, making sure nothing's crawled in there and made nests. As you can see, my fat little fingers can fit in there. So anything that can fit in there will fit its nose in there and simply crawl in and make a nest. Back here, we just want to make sure that anytime that we have stored it again, just make sure we open it up. Make sure nothing's up here hanging off the bars and making a nest on. If it is, again, just an air blower or shot vac, suck them out of there, get them out of there, and away you go. With the other added point is that if we're going to be the motivated folks that like I am and you like to wash all your own stuff, just make sure that we're careful when spraying water around here. Is that when we spray water, we don't want to spray upwards or directly at this. We want to try spraying from an angle so the water just kind of waterfalls down over this. We just don't want to fill up all the electronics on the back side of this full of water. Next to that is our 110 plugs down here, along with our 2 antenna and satellite hookups right there, so that if we wanted to bring a TV onto the outside, we can bring it out here, hook it up to right here, and have all of our TV usages to the outside.
Is this on the table?
Our steps are simple steps. Grab them, lift them, stab them. We're done putting our steps away. To bring them back out, yellow handle right here, turn it either left or right, doesn't matter which way you go, it just deactivates the locks. Pull out, let them down to the ground, nice and easy. And our steps are ready, set, and ready to go. If we need to, if we go to put our steps out and they seem like they're hanging down and not quite touching the ground, simply just lift them back up. I just use my thigh to set it on. There are 2 lock pins right here and then another one right here. Pull the pins and then that allows you then to adjust your legs up and down how you need to. So if you get in an area and this one leg needs to be really extended, the other one needs to be really short, set them out so that everything sits nice and level, nice and flush for you, and away you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. Make sure I'm not missing anything behind our entry door. And it just brings us up to our last pass-through bay, our battery disconnect. That's just being used. The only time we need to disconnect that is when we're storing the unit, not using it. The only time it needs to be on is when we're out using the unit. So if we go hook up to it, simply turn it on so that when we hook up to it, our truck's gonna charge our trailer up as we go to the house. Once we get to the house, we plug it into shore power, then it continues to charge it up. If you're gonna go store it at a storage unit or at the house and it's just not gonna be plugged in, pull it in, open the bay door, shut it off as soon as you're done using the trailer. That just deactivates all the 12 volts to the inside of the trailer. Don't want to forget that stuff. If you want, you can actually set it. My desk is the second one over. And then our front jacks. Do the same exact thing, run down to the ground till they touch, tighten up, and then we're done.
Okay, the only other question I might have is, do we go over this thing is just pretty much on, off, up, down type of thing?
So the on-off isn't turning the jack on, it's just simply turning that front light on. That's just a hitch-up light so that if we're hitching up or unhitching at night, because if you're like my family, we always, our intensive time of leaving is before sun up. By the time we usually leave is usually about 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And my dad will drive us all the way till it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Then we're having to do all of our unhooks at night in the middle of the night. So they just give you that light so that you can see the hitch area down here. Where this is just your extend and retract for the trailer. It'll extend the nose up or retract the nose down so that we can hitch and unhitch from the back of the truck.
Gotcha, just wanted to make sure since we didn't touch
Yep.
it. Let's start a new video for inside. Maybe.